Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's time now to review headlines in today's newspapers with the Ombudsman of This Day and Arise Media Group and This Day Newspaper Limited's Group Executive Director. We call him KK, Mr. Kayode Komolafe. Good morning,
Steve,
KK.
Yeah. And good morning, Shaitan.
Good morning, Mr. KK. Welcome.
How are you today?
Doing great.
All right, it's time for our Sunday tonic review of the headlines in today's newspapers. And of course, we start with the newspaper of record this day on Sunday. The banner headline says, Chief Justice Kekere Ekun, the agenda. And I think that this is a beautiful cover from, in today's this day, basically listing, the agenda, what the new CJN, the second woman to ever attain that position in Nigeria, what her agenda is. And there are 5 key areas that the paper is focusing on. There needs to be a rethinking, repositioning, restoration, rebranding, and rejigging of the judiciary, according to Olanipekun, who says SAN. Agbakoba's views are, reflected. Dauda SAN, his views. Yadudu, his views, and of course Ndigbe, SAN. And basically setting an agenda for the new CJN, who was sworn into office. I mean, the president had to leave his brief short work stay in France to swear in. We don't know if the president is returning to France as they are speculating, but I think The Guardian is reporting today that the president, it looks like that has been cancelled and that the president is in Nassau Rock today. 2 other stories on the cover of today's This Day. On the strip, on top of the masthead, NIA DIG resigns, cites personal family reasons. That story is on page 8 of today's paper. We were talking about it before we came on air. A lot of people have been speculating as to the reason why the DG, DIG of NIA will resign. And the story on the window, CDS to Nigerians, security is everybody's business. People should give us information. What is that popular thing that they say? When you see something, say something. Yeah. I think that's what the Chief of Defense Staff is saying. And the writer says police nab woman with 124 rounds of anti-aircraft ammunition in Nasarawa. That's a tough one there. So those are the 3 stories, Kekere Ekun, the agenda for her, the resignation of the NIA DIG, and then the CDS saying that give us information. Security is everybody's business. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I think first I'd like to join you in commending the editor of This Day on Sunday.
Yes.
For a very beautiful production today. I think that is quite in tradition of This Day.
Yes.
The agenda setting and actually putting issues in context. The reader will find it very useful, in trying to understand what the state of the judiciary is at present and what Chief Justice Kekere Ekun, should do. It's not only about a diagnosis of the state of judiciary, but also saying what is to be done, in the circumstance. And it's also very remarkable that among those people who have actually, volunteered to give their views on what should be done include past presidents of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Olanipekun,
that's right,
Mr. Agbakoba, and others.
Yes.
Now, it's also important to underline the fact that if you go through some of the suggestions, it will require, it's actually calling for a holistic reform, of the judiciary. And we should also tie back to the statement that the new Chief Justice, made after, taking out of office, last week. And that was that our goal would be, to restore confidence into the judiciary, and that by the time, by the end of our tenure, that Nigerians will be proud, of the kind of judiciary, that will be left behind, And so what I'm saying is that to be holistic, some of the suggestions given here, go beyond mere administrative steps, to be taken, by the Chief Justice at the head of that arm of government. Some of them will require, legislation. For instance, there is the suggestion that constitutional courts should be created, for political cases, so that the courts, are not encumbered, by the various political election petitions, and the rest. To do that, it will require, legislation. So I think it's, those views, they're not just only for the Chief Justice herself, but all stakeholders, who will also be involved, in ensuring that we have a thorough reform, of the judiciary.
And I think she has about at least 4 years to spend as the CJN.
Yes, so you are right. That point should be made. That point should be made. There is a real basis for optimism, that she will have time, to implement, to lead the charge, carrying out those reforms. So, what remains to be said is to say congratulations, our best wishes, to
Congrats
our new
indeed.
CJ, that we trust that, she will actually deliver, Now, the other story, like you said, on this is the security thing, because, and essentially, if you look at the front pages today, Tribune, Vanguard, Telegraph, all, what is common, to all the front pages is the question of security, and in this regard, I would say that the story should be read within within this context, that there are concerns. For instance, the story on the front page, even the third story on the front page of this story of the woman who was arrested in Nasarawa, ammunition, it's also a security story.
Absolutely.
The statement by the CDS, which is quite appropriate to say that that security is the business of everybody. That the security agencies should be assisted with information and also cooperation by the public for them to do their job. And just like
people might say that there's a thin line between an appeal and a cry for help. Will that be what the CDS is doing? Is it like the security apparatus is overwhelmed by the state of insecurity?
I disagree on that. It's not about him. And in any society, what the CDS is saying is what should normally happen. So it's not a question of being beleaguered, or being overwhelmed. The security agencies are not witches, So for them to be able to do their work, that is the difference between intelligence and information, Before the professionals, will process, what the professionals will process into intelligence, what they will use, the raw material is information, and that information, will not be created by them. They will have to be for members of the public, So if people, see movement, and they don't alert the security agencies, there is no, they are not humans, there is no way they will know. So what the CDS is asking for, is basically what, which is the question of, collaboration between the public of the security and defense sector, and as well as the professionals there. But I'm saying that while appreciating, the apprehension, of the public, about the security situation, we should also remark that this weekend, because last week, one of the stories, very worrisome story that we traded was the kidnap of the medical students, and their doctor, It's good news. It's good news that those are, So therefore, on that occasion, it was reported that the IG, said that the police will go into immediately, go into action, and ensure the release, of those medical students. I think it's a great thing, that has happened. And
we don't know if it was a rescue or a negotiated release.
Whichever way it happens, it doesn't matter.
Because
what is important is that people. What is important?
Yes.
What is important is that people
that
were kidnapped.
Yes.
They've regained their freedom.
Yes.
And they are alive, and well, and to that extent, what is important is to commend, and encourage the police and other security agencies to do more of that. I think we should be very careful in this matter. There is nowhere in the world where security agencies, discuss their operations. What we as members of the public should demand of them is the delivery that people, to ensure safety.
So part of what people are demanding is that if you are claiming to have rescued
I'm saying
people,
that the media and the public we are getting it wrong.
I don't think so, sir.
There is no system. There is no system where security agencies discuss their operations.
That may be correct. What the basis of
and when you insist on that, you are not helping. You are not helping matters.
I don't think
because,
so. The police
for instance, let me give an example. Let me give an example.
Okay.
I don't know whether they pay ransom or not, and I'm not interested in whether they pay ransom or not. What I'm interested in is that people were kidnapped and they are safe. Now, what I'm saying is that when you play up this question of ransom or not paying ransom, in a way you are emboldening the criminals, because if you go with the story, 100 million naira ransom was paid or whatever, you are encouraging others.
No, with respect, I don't think so. But
what I'm saying is that we should encourage. Just a minute, we should encourage the police and other security agencies to do their work to ensure that. First of all, to even prevent, kidnapping where it is possible, where it has happened, those who are in captivity, and don't forget that you still have scores of people in captivity.
That's correct.
And so when we make comments, we should bear in mind, the fate of those people, and that's why I'm saying that, operational question, the question of operation is a sensitive issue, So rather, what we should be talking about is to appeal that the kind of success recorded, with the release of the medical students and the doctor, that more of such actions should take place, so that those who are in captivities will be free. I think that should be the focus.
That's a success, and we're saying that because each time that these things happen, parents of the victims
we had an
come out absolutely to say that ransom was paid or that they were ready to pay ransom, and while we commend that people's lives were spared and they are back, but then we're saying that inadvertently we're giving oxygen to that illicit enterprise when people continue to pay ransom.
Okay, just oppose that with this. There have been cases where people have actually paid ransom and yet the victims were killed by the kidnapper. If you look at that, then you will say that. Then you will realize why I'm saying that what has taken place here is success. We should be commended, and then we should encourage. That the other people who are in captivity should be free, and that should be our focus.
Of course, we agree.
All right, then thank you, Mr. Keke. Well, let's look at This Day Style. On the cover of This Day Style today, we have a man of power. His name is Kola Adeshino, and the cover note for him reads, Kola Adeshino, Executive Director at Sahara Group, is a man of many accomplishments, yet he wears his success with the kind of humility that defines true leadership. It's impossible to overlook the vast terrain his career has traversed: academia, finance, energy, trade, and diplomacy. He has made significant strides in these fields, inspiring young Africans to create their legacy. Under his leadership, Sahara Power Group has been at the forefront of bringing energy to life across Africa, connecting over 30 million homes and businesses to electricity through subsidiaries like the Ikeja Electric and Egbin Power PLC.
Fantastic. I mean, a man of power, a man of influence, those who know him closely describe him as a refined gentleman who's a goal-getter. I think he celebrated his 60th birthday recently, with pomp and ceremony. And I think that it's in order to say happy birthday, happy 60th, to him, and more power to his elbow. KK, you know the gentleman?
Absolutely. I know Mr. Kola Adesina very well. Yeah. Like you said, he's a gentleman, he's a good man and highly resourceful, Yeah. And the group to which he belongs, the Sahara Group, is actually a major player, in the energy sector, Right. And I think that in a way an exemplar because while we talk of foreign investment all the time, I think it's important to also give emphasis to encourage, local investors. I mean, Nigerians investing, right. And I think, a success story, yes. Such investment is, the group to which it belongs. But as a person, yeah. I'm quite pleased to say congratulations, to him, yeah. And a happy birthday, at 60. Yeah. Happy
birthday to him. Yeah. A quiet man, with his team, and I think that's something of an advantage. Yeah. Don't be too loud unnecessarily. Yeah. All right, let's move to.
And yeah, you're right. Not too loud. I mean, and that is the lesson that is highly accomplished. Is highly accomplished, yet very humble. Yeah. And on unassuming. Yes. So in a way, it should be a model. To people in the private sector. Yeah.
All right. Sunday Telegraph has some interesting political stories. I think two are connected. The main Barna headline says 2027 tension as PDP prepares for NEC meeting. Governors angry over treatment of Fubara by Damagun. We need father figure, not beggars as leaders. That's our next governor speaking there. And then the acting chairman should vacate seat for North Central. Former spokesperson of the party, Kola Olubodinyo, who's been saying that for a while. If we tie that, KK, to one of the window stories, Atiku brands Bode George tribalist, poor image of military. PDP is in the news for different reasons. I'd like your comment about that. You've mentioned the part of insecurity, outrage over rise in insecurity. Bandits kidnap 150 in Sokoto, slain emir buried. Niger begs army as Boko Haram's flag flies in Shiroro. That's not a good one at all. We need information. We already mentioned that CDS. Armed robbers attack Oyo radio station, injure security staff, cut away valuables. I've been following that story since morning, and that's not a good thing, at all. So those are the stories. We have 3 more minutes. If we can deal that, or should we add one more paper to it? Shaitan, which paper do you have there? I have Punch there, but you have Tribune.
I have Tribune. On the headline story reads, give us useful tips to tackle security, CDS. We touched on that. Suspected gun runners with 30 locally made guns land in police net in Edo. Women carrying 124 rounds of anti-aircraft ammunition arrested in Nasarawa. And PDP governors regroup, express readiness to regain power from APC, decry worsening insecurity economy, and an Atiku presidency driven by competent persons would have heralded prosperity. Ibe replies, Bode George. Mr. KK.
For Punch, 2027, Tinubu woos North as loyalist battle opposition. Shetima Ganduje to reach out to aggrieve Northerners, while the Sun is focusing on the pains of fuel scarcity. Nigerians in pains as situation worsens. I don't know if you were able to get fuel lately, but it was a tug of war. It looks like he's easing up gradually in Lagos, but people
I think it's only just because it's the weekend, but we'll know better by Monday. The queues are still out there, Mr.
Okay, so Telegraph, Tribune, Punch, and the Sun. Just, any of your choice.
Okay, yes, maybe let's take the security story. Is common to all the papers. Like I said, it's in a way you can say that the issue of the day is really security. And the headlines really they are quite worrisome. And that goes to show that we should still persist, in calling on the defense and security, authorities, that there's still a lot of work to be done, to keep the country secure, Why commending again, I must emphasize that, the successes they have, but to say that it's still a work in progress and that a lot of work still needs to be done. Yeah. All those who are in captivity, it is the duty of the Nigerian state, to secure their freedom, because the first the primary purpose, of government, is the security, of the
Is there a
people.
nexus whatsoever between the state of the economy and cost of living, and then this banditry, insecurity, and theft that seem to be
of course,
rampant,
of course. Physical security, has a dialectical relationship, with social security. I mean the socio-economic climate.
Yeah.
Can encourage insecurity, and it can also discourage insecurity depending on how it is.
Yeah.
So definitely that is a nexus. And that is beyond a debate.
Okay.
So I think a lot of work needs to be done, on the security sector.
A window story in the Punch: how security agents killed suspected kidnapper, rescued 20 medical students.
Yeah.
Draw useful attention, and clarification
To-
on those
thank
20.
you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. So I thought I should point that out. That at least a kidnapper was, which is this sort of a thing that people are demanding of the police.
I understand. I
There have
understand
to be
your
consequences to
yeah.
their actions.
There must
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
there must be consequences.
Yeah.
But we must thank you, KK, for, as usual, an enlightening time, reviewing the cover of today's newspapers. Thank you indeed,
Great
KK.
to be here. Thank you
and
very
hope to
much.
see you next week, Sunday. All right, that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching, and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayorimbe.
And I'm Shaiton Atigari. From my entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria, enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.